Hey everyone, so just a very short time ago, I just finished tying up, recording a video in regards to the maple leaf subsidies handed out by the Ontario, the Ford government, the PCs. Once again, we're seeing in Canada, listen, it might be a lesser of evil in comparison to the Wynne Liberals or the McGuinty Liberals, but we're seeing out there today on the political landscape, you have no options as far as establishment political parties in this country, as far as pushing back or standing in firm opposition to this constant interventionism into the economy from big government. Like I say, I was covering that Maple Leafs story in regards to the fact that now the Ford PC government is now going to hand them, what, $35 million, right? This is a huge multi-billion-dollar corporation, Maple Leaf Foods, but the Ford government's willing to hand them, $35 million of taxpayers, or Ontario debt's so high at this point that no, it's the unborn, future Ontarians, the unborn Ontarians at this point. Apparently, he's willing to, economically enslave the unborn at this point in time to help Maple Leaf Foods create a whole new big corporation or big business somewhere. I think it's in London, but at the same time they're closing 3 other plants. So once again, government should never be intervening in the economy. We all already know this. We've already seen the moral hazards and consequences as a result of such. But are they learning their lessons? No. It looks like every politician in Canada today, that's their go-to source. Whenever there's any segment of the economy that's seemingly in trouble, right? No, rather than let them suffer the consequences of their bad economic decisions or their terrible business model that apparently isn't succeeding anymore, no, the government's constantly showing, whether it's the federal or the provincial, no, they're going to step in and they're going to force you, the taxpayer, or like I said, it's not even you at this point in time because you're not seeing your taxes raised enough to pay for any of this shit. So they're basically trying to offload all these debt obligations onto the unborn. People that have no say in the matter, because I guess they don't have to worry about them voting against them, and they don't have to worry about them petitioning or protesting against them either. So I guess at this point in time, they don't want to socially or economically enslave you to the point to pay for all this stuff, because they know that, you get pissed off real quick. But if you do it to the unborn, that's the thing with these central planners. What they realize today is, no, you postpone that pain until it's offloaded onto successive or the generations or the unborn. That way you don't have to worry about the complaining. And by the time they do complain, well, who cares? It's already long gone. It's already forgotten. And the people that got to make out like bandits, well, they got to make out like bandits. And what? You can't unwind it then, folks. They already got to experience all that benefit of forcing the unborn to subsidize these crony or crown corporations or bail them out. And of course, I wouldn't expect any different anyways, but of course, the Alberta NDP, the Notley government, those who come from socialism, like the NDP, that's what they basically promote, socialism. That is what the NDP represents. And well, they're showing that, yeah, hey, they're going to jump on board. They're unwilling to hold themselves to any higher standard when they recognize that even their political counterparts, whether they're liberal or conservative, why would the NDPers? That's the thing with the NDP. They had one chance finally to have a position of power or authority in Alberta. They, for a little while, I guess they were like, well, let's try to play that middle ground. Let's not go full socialist here because, these are the Alberta people. These people are usually really conservative and they're totally against the socialism, but they're looking out there on the political landscape seeing that, well, look, everyone else in the political sphere, they're using politics. They're using the big, gigantic gun in the room to force or impose their economic ideas on everyone else. And like, well, yeah, we might as well just admit that, hey, we're all about that too. So, hey, let's do the same. Headline out of Financial Post. Alberta will buy rail cars to move 120,000 barrels a day of stock crude, Notley says. Alberta Premier said she expects a deal within weeks and is disappointed the federal government isn't helping. First of all, why should a provincial government have to pay for more rail cars for a private industry, right? No, this is once again, it's bureaucracy on such a ridiculous scale that once again, the only answer, the only solution to the problem is for government to step in and force the unborn to subsidize these corporations of the government to bail them out once again. This is what socialism, this is what collectivism, this is what forced subjugation entails, folks. It's a race to the bottom. This being reported by David Longred, November 28, 2018. Ottawa. Albert is in talks to buy rail cars to transport 120,000 barrels per day of crude oil and expects a deal to conclude within weeks, Premier Rachel Notley said on Wednesday, as the energy-rich province takes actions to move oil stuck in the region because of a lack of pipeline capacity. So once again, why is there a lack of pipeline capacity in this country? Government. Government is that overarching entity that has prevented these pipelines from being built in this country, right? So whether it's the Energy East or the Trans Mountain pipeline to go to the West Coast, we've seen that that's the very reason, that's the culprit. And once again, it's government. Government is that one entity that's preventing these pipelines from being built. But yet, government, once again, government creates the problem, and now government is attempting to create the solution. See the problem there, folks? I sure do. Notley, who says the cars are needed to help deal with stranded oil that has slashed the price of Alberta oil, told a business audience she was disappointed that the federal government was not helping fund the purchase. Hey, the federal government has already chosen to what? Spend $4.5 billion of taxpayers, or like I say, the unborn money, to buy a pipeline already that's already sitting in limbo. Like, come on, folks. Government is not the answer. It's never been the fucking answer, and it sure shit ain't ever going to be the answer going forward. Unless you're an idiot that just wants to keep banging your head against the wall. And guess what's going to happen as a consequence of you keep banging your head against the wall? You're going to end up bloody, bruised, and suffering a whole lot of pain that never should have happened. Here's an idea. Stop banging your head against the wall. And stop relying on governments to dictate, regulate, and control the economy. Matter of fact, just as Adam Smith said many years ago, no, the proper way forward is to tell central planners, hands off. You just keep your hands the fuck off the economy and let it function under a free market environment, and then you'll see, hey, works out pretty damn good. Or better than any other alternative method that has ever been practiced in all of human history. Reuters revealed last week that Alberta has proposed a joint purchase of 2-unit trains and estimated the one-time capital cost of about $350 million. Federal officials are cool to the idea, saying by the time the cars come online late next year, the supply problems will have eased. Anyways, I'll post a link to this article in the description of the video below. I just wanted to point out once again, because like I say, I was tying up another past video in regards to more central planning intervention in the economy, picking winners or losers, which once again, we've seen how detrimental that is. And another area, well, I mean, think about the GM fiasco that's happening right now. You know, government bailed out GM, and now GM, just a few years later, is pulling out, even though, you know, billions were spent and squandered bailing out that corporation, they're still going to pull out of Oshawa regardless. And now thousands and thousands of Canadians are going to lose their jobs as a consequence, as a result. So what was the bailout for? To prop them up for just a little while longer? But once again, it seems like it was all in vain. That's just, once again, to put off that pain for a little while longer. But once again, we're still going to feel the pain. And you're going to understand at some point in time, Canada, that all these interventions in the economy that's under the pretense of putting off or postponing that pain, yeah, you can put it off a little while, but like I said, it's all going to happen. You're not getting rid of the pain, you're just moving it further down the road. But that just means as you get older, as you become less resilient or less capable of dealing with that pain, that's when all that pain is going to finally come to fruition. Really? Is that really how you think is the proper way to deal with things? Don't you think you want to deal with that pain now and get over with it in the hopes of doing things better in the long run? I sure as shit do. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.